Hello everybody, it has been a long time since I have done anything for YouTube. That long time being relative to me because it's been like 2 weeks since I uploaded. But I've been mulling over uploading this video for a long time. Mostly just thinking about what I want to upload. Oh lord, that thing on the neck. Oh god. Anyways, today's video is about Warframes that I consider perfect. And as you can see, I've started this video in I guess the picture perfect frame in Harrow. So yeah, I'll be starting off by discussing Harrow. But before we even get into that, I need to first explain what exactly I mean when I say perfect, because that can sometimes not be the most clear, so I intend to first make that clear. When I say perfect, I mean a frame whose base abilities can handle everything that the game will throw at it, and changing abilities on said frame will only further improve it or enhance it, and changing an ability should feel like a daunting decision when it comes to changing abilities on that frame. And there is no frame better for this than Harrow, because changing off an ability on Harrow is definitely a challenging choice to make, since every single one of his abilities feels integral. Now, instead of the usual showing in the Simulacrum, I intend to demonstrate in like actual missions this time around. So I'm gonna, do the ability description reading here today, because most of these frames won't have anything subsumed onto them. Keyword there is most. I will have a couple of them where there are subsumes done. So let's get into my build and his abilities. So let's start here with his passive. His overshield capacity is doubled, and he starts missions with max energy. These are two relatively simple passives, but they do a lot more than they let on, because overshield plays perfectly, the capacity being doubled plays perfectly into your first ability, and we'll get into that later. The starting missions with max energy plays perfectly into your third ability, and a little bit into your fourth, and your whole kit, really. But it's mostly for this third one, and you'll see when I start the mission what I mean by that. So let's get into my build. My build is a pretty simple build because Harrow needs a little bit of everything except for efficiency. Because Harrow doesn't really need any help in the energy department due to the third ability. So, I kind of just said, yeah, no, we don't need this. We don't need this. As such, his build is just increasing all of his other stats, and I need that base energy increase from primed flow in order to use his abilities a lot more, because you kind of get to spam condemn a lot for survivability. So let's get into the breakdown of each of the abilities and what exactly makes him perfect. So starting with Condemn. Condemn serves the role of a survivability and crowd control ability. That's two functions in one ability. And this is just why I consider this guy, Harrow here, a perfect frame. Because each ability covers multiple roles, as you'll continue to see as a trend going on with Harrow. So Condemn can stun a large amount of enemies, and when you cast the ability initially, it will cover 35 meters, but as it travels, the range will increase, up slowly but surely into that full 35-meter range. So it starts off being 4 meters in front of you, and then travels out to a full 35 meters. So yeah, naturally these numbers are a bit tweaked. The original numbers will be different. I should be able to show that with this. Yeah, see, the base range is 20 meters and it increases by 25 meters, by 2.5 meters incrementally. So yeah, pretty solid scaling, and It's not a damage ability, but the way it actually stuns enemies, it leaves their heads open for headshots, which is good for the rest of his kit, which we'll get into next. Penance. This is a buff ability that, well, it heals you when you first cast it. You get a fire rate bonus for its duration, and getting kills will give you heals. It will heal you based off the scaling that it has. In the case of mine, I will get 7.3% lifesteal, and it gives you fire rate and reload speed, which is very good for the weapon I'm using. I'll get into the weapon a little bit as well. I don't really like discussing my builds because, well, none of my builds are really completely complete, mainly due to me not being, endgame, I guess. I'm kind of endgame, but like not endgame. But I'm getting there. I'll get there eventually. But anyways, Penance is another really important ability, but I would say that if there was ever an ability to subsume, Penance is kind of worth it, since, Thurible is what you use for energy, and Penance is a buff, which, if you were to replace it with anything, it would definitely be with another buff. So Penance is still incredibly integral to his kit, as it provides survivability just as good as Condemn by way of giving you healing, and damage boosts by way of fire rate and reload speed. But not everybody loves fire rate and reload speed. Some people would prefer to just deal more outright damage. So yeah, it's definitely a good ability, but casting it not only costs energy, but it also costs shields, and its duration will scale up based off the amount of shields that you have, which you'll get to see when I start the mission. And then next up is Thurible. I should start getting through these faster, but Thurible is basically Harrow's energy ability, and it covers energy. That's literally what it does. You channel for a brief duration, and what you do with that channel afterwards is any kill you get will give you energy, and headshot kills give you more energy, a lot more energy. And this is another thing that I'll have to demonstrate in the mission. Onto your ultimate, Covenant. You press 4 one time and you get a critical chance buff, and you also, when you press it, you'll enter a state of invulnerability where you'll start not taking damage from anything, and then if you are damaged during this state of invulnerability, you will increase the amount of crit chance that you'll gain from the ability itself. So once the duration runs out, you'll get to see that crit chance bonus. And again, this will all be easier to see in the mission itself. So yeah, my build is nothing crazy, it's just stuff to boost my weapon's output, and the same goes for my Archon shards, just boosting Harrow's survivability, casting speed, because this can take a while to cast, and shield capacity, because I just felt like putting shield capacity on. That's it, I just felt like putting shield capacity on. This is the Gotova Prime. You can get it from Barrow-Katir, so, feel free to invest in getting it. I think it's a really good weapon, especially on frames that require headshots, because, yeah, you can read that unique trait for yourself. It gets pretty ridiculous. I'm using Deadhead because I primarily use it as a... Oh, I didn't even realize. I primarily use it as a direct high damage dealing type weapon, so I tend to aim more with it. You don't need to aim with it, but I try to aim with it. And getting the headshots is definitely worth something on Harrow. I have a Kuva Nukor. I'll try to not use it too much since it's pretty overpowered. Just the Kuva Nukor in and of itself, but this is my build for it. I don't really like showing builds. I don't know if I've talked about this before, but I feel like it's best for people to come up with their own builds and try to, be creative. Doesn't mean I'm going to hide all of my builds. I just prefer to not show them. But if you ever want to see a build of something, you can feel free to ask about it in the comment section. I'll talk about it without hesitation. And I plan on trying to make a couple more, shorts. I only have one short, so I'll try to make some more of those. So the mission I'll primarily be doing is E Prime, since it is the easiest Steel Path mission, and it's the first Steel Path mission that you'll do anyways. So definitely the standard for what you'll encounter in Steel Path, especially this early portion, and I think a good frame should at the very least be able to carry you through early Steel Path. So let's get into this. After Harrow, I believe I will be discussing Caliban, because he's definitely another frame that's worth the discussion. This video I'll cover too, and I'll also answer a question that one of the commenters asked. Well, I guess the only commenter that I have at the moment asked. And I'll try to talk about that for as long as possible, since it's something that's... I did spend a lot of time thinking about it.
Honor them.
Definitely a lot of time thinking about it. And sorry about my Harrow's display. I like his design. The energy color is black though, so it's pretty hard to see it. But it's fine. Oh, a quick suggestion for when using Harrow: try to get the what's that ability called? It's the one that makes it so when you run out of shield, your robot replenishes it immediately. Yeah, that ability. I don't know what it's called. God, I'm not the greatest when it comes to remembering this stuff. But yeah, as you can see, Harrow is doing fine. Damage is for sure there. So is the survivability, even though that yeah, that becomes a problem that you'll realize soon. That status effects that go through shield can become a problem, but you counter said problem by way of having penance up, because yeah, penance gives you heals your HP. So you get to slowly but surely see the utility of all of his abilities as I go through the mission. So even if a status effect goes through your shield, because of penance, you can heal from that. And so you don't really need to worry about it. And penance's duration, naturally, it scales off your HP. So the more HP, the better. And, you know, the attacks, the fire rate, and the, what's it called again? Reload speed buff, definitely nothing to scoff at either. Because as you can see, that's coming in real clutch in regards to the Gotova, because reloading would be a constant thing with Gotova. Like, it would be a whole side quest. So yeah, I appreciate it with my weapon of choice, especially. So yeah, clearing through this mission will be a breeze, to say the least. And I'll try to stay around for the, what's it called again? Acolyte, since that's usually the best thing to showcase, and the most problematic thing that appears in Steel Path is the Acolyte anyways. So yeah, I should definitely stay around for the Acolyte. So, yeah, just Harrow things, really. So I'm gonna play through the mission. Nice. Ow. He had a bomb. He certainly had a bomb. I don't know why I stood in it. Stop shooting. Also, you get to see what Condemn is doing and how important Condemn is. Because Condemn is carrying. Condemn is easily, like, one of the most important abilities, since it stuns the enemies, and as you can see, it leaves them open for headshots. Like, their arms and everything are away from their body, so you see his head is exposed right there. I don't really know how it helps with the dogs, but you know, for the humanoid enemies, their heads are left exposed and you can shoot them. There's a cooler one. Anyways. And there you got that was a quick demonstration of, what's it called? Penance. Giving you more duration based off your shield. More bang for your buck, really. Oh, the dogs do have heads. They do get the headshot thingy. Okay. Alright, I can showcase the 4 as well. Doing that's gonna be difficult though, considering. Also, you get to see the Godova in action. Oh, there we go. I get to demonstrate what the 4 does. As you can see, if there's an enemy that deals a ridiculous amount of damage, like those blasted Jadeslight enemies, you get a lot of crit chance. Oh my god. Unfortunately, it has a cap of 200%. But it's nothing to scoff at, as you can see. I'm critting a lot. An unnecessary amount, even. What was that? Why was that Jadeslight hitting so hard? That Jadeslight was hitting way too hard. That was kind of terrifying. 400,000 damage. Oh god. Oh, I know what did that. There's this guy. Oh, no, there's nothing there. There are a lot of different Harrow builds, each being more unique in their own way. Some being more unique than others. Because the build that I use is pretty standard for Harrow, from what I understand about Harrow. Also, that was the Acolyte. I forgot to talk about it because I was just melting it. But yeah, that was the whole, that was the Steel Path boss monster thing. What's doing that? So yeah, that Acolyte got melted, and I got scared for my life for a second there because of this torrent guy. But it's fine. He has been taken care of, and my life is still intact. So this is basically what a Harrow gameplay loop looks like. You recast your abilities, you ensure that your guns are up to standard for Steel Path. That is the most important part of Harrow, that your guns are what deal your damage, not your abilities. So if your guns are not up to Steel Path standard, then you might want to do what is necessary to get them up to Steel Path standard. Get your primary arcanes. Oh, what am I taking damage from? Get your primary arcanes, get your secondary arcanes, upgrade your mods, because that is very important. An underleveled mod is a bad mod, so remember to level your mods. And using your 4 is also very important, because as you can see, using it at the right time can save you a lot of stress, as it's saving me a lot of stress from fighting these Eczemas, since I become invulnerable to damage. Okay, status effects are still a thing, but it's fine. It's okay, because I can vaporize them. What? Oh, there's a blast Eczemas. That was a blast Eczemas, right? Oh no, it's just this guy. Well, I'll try to do Caliban, but I don't know. I don't really know how to explain Caliban very well, because he's I feel like his powerfulness is, whoa, where does that keep coming from? Oh, it's you. What are you doing? Stop camping. Get out there. Get out there. Get out there. Come here. Rude. Anyways. No, the doggos, please. Psych. Anyways, where's the... Oh, there's another dog left. I'm not gonna... I wanna kill a Grenier. There you are. Okay. What? That didn't come... Oh. You just dragged me? Stop that. Goofy. Alright, time to get out. So yeah, nice, solid mission completion. I didn't die, though as you can see, upkeeping the abilities is more important than anything. So you have to make sure your abilities are properly upkept, because if you don't, you get melted and you die, and dying sucks. Dying sucks. Yeah, we can all definitely acknowledge that dying in a mission is not a pleasant experience. But Harrow is very capable of handling all content that you'll encounter, with his one flaw being that you have to make sure your weapons are up to standard for handling whatever content you're going to take on. Because if your weapons are not up to the standard, then you'll have a not so good time. You're gonna have a bad time, in the words of Sans. You're gonna have a bad time. So yeah, Harrow, good frame, all around good frame. I would say he's what I talk about as the standard of a perfect frame. You don't need to change anything in this kit. And it really comes down to you as a player in regards to how good your Harrow can be. Not the Harrow build itself, but your weapon build. Because Harrow himself is very simple to build, as I explained earlier. You just need to ensure you have a decent balance of all the stats with a focus on duration, because all of these scale off duration. Condemn has duration to it, Penance has duration to it, Durable has duration to it, and Covenant also has duration to it. So just make sure that your Harrow is up to snuff in regards to, the stats. And you need strength a lot more than people will let you believe, because Condemn, the amount of shield you regain from it scales off strength, and having 200 is good because, as you saw during the mission, hitting just a small group of enemies with the shield can sometimes not yield as much as you want, and especially if you have below 100% strength, it won't be as good as it can be. So getting at least 200 shield per hit is pretty good, because that means if you hit, like, let's say 5 enemies, that's an easy 1000 shield that you've regained. So pretty good. And the arcanes, they really are just about what you want to use. I have Arcane Rage for that primary damage becoming ridiculous, and then there's Arcane Precision for the secondary weapon if I ever use it. So those are pretty solid, but you can use whatever you want, really. Just focus on ensuring that you can maximize your Harrow's effectiveness. So yeah, let's get into Caliban. I did say this video was going to be long. It already feels long. So, I have Caliban Prime. It is perfectly fine to not have Caliban Prime. There is no difference between a Prime and a non-Primed frame. You realize that I do have a lot of Primes. It's mostly because I don't feel good using resources on the unprimed version, but you don't need the primed version. I just prefer to not use my resources on the primed version. I'd much rather use my resources on the primed version because that's the final version of it. I have like a bit of like a OCD thing going on for me where I prefer to, use the primed version. So for Caliban, I'm going to use the Ignis Wraith because I want to play in a brain dead style. And what's more brain dead than the Ignis Wraith? Am I right? That was a joke. That was a joke. No, it was not. The Ignis Wraith is ridiculous. It's brain dead. That weapon is stupid. I will stick to the Kuva Nukor. Actually, no. I'll showcase the Latum since Caliban does sometimes need a bit of help with survivability. But the keyword there is sometimes and a bit. So, he's still mostly fine. Actually, should I just use all Incarnons and just use that Incarnon loadout? Oh my god, why am I doing this to myself? Why am I making this harder than it needs to be? You know what? Sure, I'll use an Incarnon build. Let's go with the Fenmore, because the Fenmore can be pretty nefarious. So, first thing that you'll notice, my Caliban doesn't have any Archon shards, because I'm not done building him. Actually, funnily enough, I have been prioritizing finishing Lavos, which I'll do after Caliban, because Lavos is definitely another frame I'd consider perfect. But it's also because Caliban I don't really need to rush to get Archon shards for Caliban, because he's pretty good even without the boost from Archon shards. But now that I'm remembering that he needs them, I'll definitely get into it. So here's the first thing. My build is focused on as much range and strength and duration as possible. You can forego efficiency because of what I'll get into with his one in a bit, and because of a thing that I'll explain in a second as well. One thing I'd change about my build is I would put Summoner's Wrath over Corrosive Projection, which means investing a Forma on this. So, yeah, please keep that in mind, I guess. If you are building Caliban, please get Summoner's Wrath. It is very, very worth it to have it because he is a summoner. So, yeah, I would put it on, but as you can see, if I put it on, I'd lose out on capacity. It's kind of tempting me to format right now, but I won't. I'll show some restraint. My arcanes, one of them is this one. I'm not gonna try to pronounce it as much as I would love to try. I'm not going to. This one increases the ability strength that you have based off the attacks that your minions do. So it's a good arcane for summoners, in the simple terms. It's a great arcane for summoners, one might even say. So, yeah, invest in this when building Caliban. Just my suggestion, though. My builds are not the law. Please do what you want. Freedom is what I believe in. And if I were to say, maxing this out would be within your best interest, but I'm not in much of a rush to max it out. And but if you don't want to use this, feel free to use something that will buff your weapons, because weapon buffs are always yummy. Okay, so let's get into passive. Caliban's passive is a passive for survivability. It basically gives you this mod adaptation, as you get resistance to the damage type based off, the more you take it. So let's say you get slash procced, you'll gain resistance to slash procs. And so for Caliban's passive, it stacks up to 50%, but for adaptation, it stacks up to 90%, but you can't have both of them on, you have to pick one or the other. And so, just to save yourself the mod slot, take off adaptation, and just use Caliban as without anything to really boost survivability, since you don't really need it, per se. And so, let's get into the first ability. Razor Gyre. Now, as you can see, this thing drains 28.7 energy because of my efficiency, but it has a energy refund mechanic, which is always wonderful, and you'll be able to see how beautiful that is on Steel Path, as you'll be able to basically infinitely regain your energy by just using Razor Gyre. So as long as you have the energy to use Razor Gyre, you should use Razor Gyre. Wow, I have never felt my lisp hit me so hard so many times in a row before. Anyways, what this ability does, this is Caliban's survivability ability, and it also spreads his unique status effect, and it also has a bit of damage to it. It's not much, but it's a bit of damage. So yeah, damage is certainly damage. And it has a synergy with his second ability, it seems. So let's get into the survivability aspect of it. Each enemy hit with Razor Gyre will give you shield, but it's not just shield, it also regens HP. So if your HP is full, it will regen your shield. If your HP isn't full, you'll regen your HP, and then the extra will go to your shield. And this also accounts into overshield, which is incredible for survivability, which I'll get into a bit more after I talk about this. Sentient Wrath. This is a crowd control ability. It's also an ability that makes enemies weaker, so it's a damage vulnerability ability. And this ability also spreads Caliban's unique status effect, which is Tau, but I guess it's not Caliban specific, it's sentient specific. But what Tau does is it makes enemies more vulnerable to status effects. In translation, they take more damage from status effects. And Sentient Wrath not only procs that on enemies, it procs Tau on enemies, but it also gives them damage vulnerability, which scales off power strength, by the way, which is why it's important to have a solid amount of power strength so you can take full advantage of that, which is probably what would make the Ignis Wraith a pretty good weapon on Caliban. What am I saying probably for? I know it's a good weapon on Caliban. Anyways, Lethal Progeny. Lethal Progeny. Yeah, let's just accept that. And this is this ability is ridiculous. It's got survivability, it's got crowd control, it's got enemy aggro, it's got damage, it's got everything. This ability is your everything key. It's also your summon ability. So, you get 3 different summons: the Conculist, the Ortholist, and the Somnolist. The Conculist is a melee range fighter. They go close up to enemies and hit them in the face with their lightsaber sword thingies. And they will also use an instance of your 4 when you cast your 4, so keep that in mind. They scale off power strength, so their level, their damage, their health, all of it scales off power strength, so the more power strength, the better. And one-time cast buffs are good on this, so, you know, maybe Molt Augmented isn't the best thing for him. No, I'm joking. A Molt Augmented is still what you need because you can recast the ability. Yeah, you heard me right. Can be recast. So can Sentient Wrath and, well, not Razor Gyre. You can't recast Razor Gyre until you finish the first cast, so I guess that's that. The Orphalist. They are turrets, basically, but like they're selective turrets. They'll pick a random location at random points during their spawn, and they'll just kind of sit there and shoot at enemies. They deal solid damage, and they also spread the Tau status effect, so let's just say they're status spreaders, but they also, again, deal decent damage. But the Conculists are better, in my opinion, for damage, so that's always good. And then, last but not least, oh wait, Somnolist, last but not least. This guy, he opens a gate that summons out a bunch of small sentients. They will garner a lot of enemy aggro, so basically you'll never take damage while they're on the field, and I'm pretty sure they're invulnerable to damage as well, so yeah, you don't gotta worry about them dying. The only thing you have to really protect is the Somnolist itself, so yeah, keep that in mind. Now, what these guys do aside from their own unique thingies is they also provide Caliban with shield recharge and shield what's it called, regen. So they give you shields over time from just being near them, and they also regenerate your shields from really far away. So yeah, it'll be much easier to showcase all this in the mission rather than just having me here yapping about it. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. As you saw the weapons, I'm going with mostly Incarnon weapons, because Incarnons are good. Incarnon equal good. That's my Latum build with secondary fortifier because survivability. That's my Inodem build with melee retaliation because I just leave it on the Inodem, really. I couldn't think of anything else to put on it. You don't have to use secondary fortifier. I just choose to use secondary fortifier. But you don't have to. You can use anything you want, honestly. It really just comes down to what you want to use. The Fenmore is... This is what I've got going on for it. Its build isn't finished. I need to form it a couple times. But, you know, it's fine. It deals more than enough damage in the state that it is right now. So let's hop into this and allow me to demonstrate what Caliban is capable of. Again, I will be staying in the mission long enough for the Acolyte to spawn, and so I can show you that, yeah, he can fight the Acolyte too. But it won't be as easy as it was with Harrow. And that's the thing, I guess it's not really fair to compare what a frame can do to what another frame can do, because every frame has their own things that make them special and good and stuff. So, you know, I guess that's a thing. But let's get moving. So, as you saw, I can just immediately summon the guys at the start of the mission. Let's call them our boys. And yeah, their damage is nothing to scoff at, because they killed that guy by themselves. I didn't even need to help them. So there's the second ability. This is the first. As you saw, energy regained. And I can take my time, really, and just kill these guys one by one. You know, take some, get some headshots. Also, as I was talking about earlier, my Fenmore is definitely nothing to scoff at. The damage is certainly there. Oh wow, he's dead. Anyways, stop it. He does really well on his own. It's slightly scary how good he is. No Archon shards, mind you. This is just what he can do. That is straight up just Caliban. All I've got is a couple Arcanes and some decent weapons and a reasonable build. Now, there is a slight issue that I will have to talk about, is that his one requires a lot of enemies to be there. In Steel Path, that's not much of an issue, but in lower level content, it can be a problem, because then your energy economy can kind of just become bad. You know, and nobody likes bad energy economy, okay? No one is happy about bad energy economy.
Stay focused.
Also, my Latent build is also pretty solid, even without the even without it being finished. My Latent build is still pretty solid. But I do intend to leave it like this for a while because I have other weapons that I want to invest in. Oh, that's not nice. You're lucky you gave me Overguard. I forgive you. Oh, the Overguard broke. Is this more than... Does that make it worth it? Yeah, that's pretty good. I feel like this run is gonna be more of a demonstration on how powerful Latem is, because I don't think I'm gonna... I don't really feel like the... Well, I mean, it is demonstrating how Caliban himself works, but the Latem is doing so much work. I thought there was a turn here. Oh. Whoops. Whoops. I fell off. Oh, he is dead. That guy is dead. I'll just shoot this guy. Also, you can see that these sentients are putting in a lot of work. They are very important. I haven't even had to use my 4, by the way. The 4... Did I discuss the 4? Oh, no, I don't think I discussed the 4. Well, no better time than now. As I said earlier, the sentient guys use an instance of your 4, specifically the Conculus, and your 4 armor strips. So you can see the enemies don't have armor anymore. But more than that, it also leaves a zone in which if enemies enter, they lose their armor. So, yeah. I can't believe I didn't explain that in the... I can't believe I forgot to discuss the 4 in the ability explanation section. That's kind of the whole point of the section. It's just to explain. Oh god. I can't believe that happened. I can't believe that happened. I'm gonna be sad about that for a while. But yeah, as you can see, these guys are kind of cooking.
Unit approaching.
I didn't even have to do anything. I could just stand there and watch. Wonderful. Anyways, let's just get back to massacring these guys. These losers. Also, you get to see that energy regain going on. That's nefarious. You see how much energy I gained from that? Also, I'm just gonna use the Fenrir. Oh right, I forgot to incarnate from it. Alright, there we go. Yep, the enemy shredder 9000 right here. Just tearing through enemies. As you do. Can't believe this thing goes from what is basically a sniper to a machine gun. Also, hey, the acolyte is here. It's time to vaporize it. I'm just gonna show you how powerful my Latem is. Where's this nerd? Come here. Owie! No. Where are you running to? Come here. Come here. Stop coming closer to me. I don't want to touch you. No. This is my personal space. Sir. Please stop. This is my personal space. I need you to step away from my personal space. Yeah, calm down. Okay. Anyways, that guy's dead. That was supposed to be an acolyte, but it felt like more of a joke, especially considering what the Latem can do, and the Fenmore. I could have also used the Fenmore, but I like the Latum more because its attacks are easier to hit, and I'm too lazy to aim right now. So that guy's dead. These guns they're powerful, and so is Caliban because he makes them even more powerful. And his survivability is really, really easy to do. Like, you don't even have to use your brain. Owie. That is not nice, sir. That is completely unwarranted. Where's the turret? I don't know. Come on, sir. There you are. Get out of here. Wasn't there a guy in this corridor? Oh, he's dead. No. There's still one. So yeah, I feel like this is a pretty simple demonstration of why Caliban is definitely one of the frames I would consider perfect. You don't need to helmet anything. He deals a ton of damage without having anything helmet. And his moves can do everything he needs to be done. They can stun enemies, they can provide him with survivability, they can distract enemies, the summons can kill enemies themselves. Speaking of the summons, I should showcase the remaining summons while I'm here. The Ortholist, I'll let you see what they can do. Behold the Ortholist, what they do. Ortholist, do your job. Yeah, look, see, they're shooting.
The enemy is broken. Well done. Now get to
Give me your
extraction.
overcard. Thank you. I didn't mean to kill so many of them. But yeah, see, they shoot out these little thingies, and when they enter mortar mode, they just start firing away. And they deal a lot of damage when they enter mortar mode. And then, see, big number. It could be better number, but number is number. And yeah, there you go. That's them. That's gone. That's them. That's the Ortholist. So next is the Sumulist, which is gonna take a second to demonstrate what he does. Okay, there we go. He's summoning them. So he summons these things. These little guys, they distract enemies. Oh, I thought they were immortal. I guess I'm stupid. They're not immortal. Note, the summons are not immortal. Like, well, these guys. I thought these guys specifically were immortal, because, like, I've never seen them die before. It might also just be a case of, because of how infrequently I use them, I mostly use, like, that specific summon for defense missions. That could be the reason why I thought they were immortal. But no, they are not immortal. So, yeah. Let that be a lesson. Don't be like me. Keep in mind that they are not immortal. But it still comes down to having to keep this guy alive, because if these guys die, he just spawns more. That's kind of... I guess that's kind of like the thing. Anyways, that guy's dead. I'm just gonna move on to Lavos, I guess. Or should I... Yeah, I'll move on to Lavos. Let's discuss Lavos next. Definitely gonna be an interesting discussion, because Lavos is a bit more difficult to explain why he's so perfect, in my opinion, at the very least. I could do Protea instead. Honestly, there's a ton of frames that I consider perfect. And I don't want to just go with a frame that's like viable for Steel Path. I want to use frames that people would consider to be non-Steel Path viable as well. And just show that, yes, it is Steel Path viable. It just requires a little bit of je ne sais quoi. I don't know what that means. I just hear my mom say it sometimes. So Gauss is here. I would discuss Gauss, but I don't feel like I really need to discuss Gauss, as he is one of the poster children of the game. And so is Baruch. So let's discuss Baruch. I was gonna do Lavos, but Baruch came into my sidelines, so you know we're gonna talk about him instead. I'm gonna pop that. I'm getting rid. Hold on. I'm getting rid of that. I can't. I haven't used him in so long that I didn't even see that. Yes, please remove this. Get this garbage off my neck. Ruining how beautiful my Baruch is. Can't believe this. He looks so good.
Have you lost your mind?
Ortis, it's fine. I have another one on anyways. Oh god, I need to go kill that stupid tech rot boy band. Anyways, Baruch! Do you guys like my Baruch fashion frame? I think he looks nice. If you agree, please let me know in the comments. Anyways, Baruch, let's get into his passive. So, his passive is basically his restraint meter, which you require to use Serene Storm, which, let me make this clear, I love Serene Storm. I like Baruch. I like his moveset and stuff a lot. It's just, I like Loki more, so I use Loki more. Speaking of using Loki more, would you guys watch a video on my Loki build? Like, seriously, would you watch a video on it? Like, I have a Loki build. It's like a dedicated, like Loki build. Like, I'm talking like weapons. The weapons and everything are like, everything is like an exclusive like Loki build. The Inodem is also a part of the build. It's just not like in the color scheme. Like, I have to like manually come over and switch it to the color scheme, but the Inodem is also part of it. I was thinking of getting another tech rot weapon to fit in with the theme of like tech rot, like infested creature assassin thing. But you know, like, would you watch a video on this Loki build? Like, you can see the weapons, but not like the weapon build itself, you know? Anyways, for Baruch, I will use the... I'm just gonna move on from that. I would use the Felix, the Latum, and the Inodem. You realize I haven't really changed the weapon. Hey, you know what? Sure, this time I'll change the melee weapon this time. Ah, yes, but what to use? I'll use this sketch. This sword is really good, by the way. For anyone who is struggling to find a sword that you like, this one that you get from the sacrifice quest, the Skiajita, or however you want to say it, it's good. It's a good sword, and it's also cool because, cool katana sword thing. So yeah. Anyways, Baruch. So his first ability is tied to his whole kit, and most importantly, Serene Storm. Serene Storm has this thing called a restraint meter that basically changes how much restraint you have, and when your restraint meter is completely depleted, then you can use Serene Storm. So you cannot use Serene Storm until your restraint meter is completely depleted. And when your restraint meter is below a certain threshold, you get 50% damage resistance, or damage reduction, which, ridiculous. For starters, that is ridiculous. That is a lot of damage reduction. So your passive already covers your survivability, right? But guess what? So does your first ability, because you get to dodge all incoming projectiles at a 315-degree angle, which this angle scales off ability range. But regardless of what it scales off, that is a ridiculous angle. And you can get it to a full 360, but you have to invest in a whole lot more range. And I have already invested in a pretty solid amount of range. So, yeah. Don't mind my arcanes. They are not the greatest arcanes in the world. They are certainly arcanes, though. That's for sure. I guess he does have a decent number of health. But still, Baruch isn't exactly known for being the healthiest Warframe in the multiverse. But anyways, yeah, your first ability is just projectile immunity, basically. But the problem is, you have to not attack. The moment you start attacking, you start taking damage. So you have to stand there like a pacifist and let them shoot at you, which might be beneficial for Steel Path, and it reduces your restraint meter while you evade the attacks. So yeah, keep that in mind. Lol, this puts enemies to sleep, but more than that, it puts a sleep zone on the ground near the enemies, and you know, it leaves that there like a residual sleep zone. So any enemies that walk into that sleep zone after a while, they'll fall asleep as well. My build doesn't have a lot of duration, as you can see, because I completely forego duration for range, which you'll understand when you see the build in action. Desolate Hands, this is a disarm ability that disarms enemies, and it gives you damage reduction as well. So yeah, as you can see, his whole kit is basically just survivability. You don't die with Baruch. at all. And personally, in my opinion, I don't see any point in changing any of his abilities, because what's there to change? You can all of these abilities are useful. This puts enemies to sleep as crowd control and stun, and it also makes it so you can kill them since they're crowd controlled, and it reduces your restraint meter. This makes you immune to damage, and it also reduces your restraint meter. This disarms enemies, and it gives you damage reduction, and for each enemy that gets hit by one of them, it reduces restraint meter. And this just deals a lot of damage. And I mean like a lot of damage. Like a good build on Serene Storm will absolutely cook. And then here's your Desert Wind, which is the the weapon that uses Serene Storm. Oh, can I max this out? Oh, I can. I'll do that later. But yeah, here is Serene. Actually, no, I should probably do that. Oh, no. Actually, never mind. Wait, what would... Whoops, don't put that back. Yeah, this is my Serene Storm build. It's not the greatest in the world, but it is certainly a Serene Storm build of the century. What... Or a Desert Wind, because I guess that's what it's called. Why would it come off the Desert Wind? What? I am confusion. Anyways, so let's get into this. After Baruch is the last frame I'm gonna do for this video. I'll do another frame for another video. I'll do the rest that I have for another video. But I will also be discussing the concept for a frame that I have, which I think it's gonna be. It would be pretty cool to see it, and I would definitely classify the way it works as being, perfect. But let's get into Baruch. So once again, we're going to E Prime, and we're going to look at this. But while this happens, I will discuss what the concept is. So, I don't know how many of you are Ben 10 enjoyers or Marvel enjoyers, but there are characters in those franchises that have the ability to basically assimilate / absorb the attributes and traits of materials. You can probably see where I'm going with this. So yes, a character who can absorb material traits. Warframe material traits. So if he's on a rock, for example, he could absorb the traits of that rock and gain its, attribute bonuses and stuff. Sleep now. But before we get into that any further, let's discuss what Baruch's got going on. So, you saw that just now. I put them to sleep. They got knocked down. I slept them with such alarming ease. Look at that. I'm about to sleep a whole nother crowd of enemies. Who are you? Why are you still why are you not sleeping? Did I discuss my Fellerix build? My Fellerix build is actually based off a build from another YouTuber. I know, right? Wow, that's so lame. I can't really watch YouTubers and use their builds. Yeah, I know. I'm such a loser for using a build from another YouTuber. I'm joking, by the way. This is just me joking. Using builds from YouTubers is perfectly fine. It's actually normal, because using someone as reference is never a bad thing. What I took from that YouTuber's video was the primary crux. That's what I watched the video, and I was like, wait a minute, it's a good idea. So he was talking about how good primary crux is and what it does. So yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's what's like really special about this build. It's got primary crux on it. That's the thing that I took from the YouTube video. Nerd. So yeah, primary crux gives you ammo efficiency, and so you can kind of go crazy. Huh, he doesn't have a gun anymore. Yeah, you can kind of go crazy. Ooh, overguard. So why is your beam still beaming? Stop beaming. As you can see, my energy is fine because I don't really have to use my abilities that much. I only cast them like once in a blue moon, and when I do cast them, it's just like for like a brief duration. they last for a really long time. Sorry, so it's like, you know, what do I have to worry about? And also have ridiculous damage reduction, so I'm taking like no damage from anything. And I can disarm enemy. Wait, Baruch is so powerful. Yeah, and you also have Serene Storm if you ever feel like, you know, not using your gun for whatever reason. Because I haven't really had to use Serene Storm, and so I can mostly just keep it the way it is for the damage reduction. Because yeah, you remember the whole thing about getting damage reduction when your restraint is reduced? Yeah. So yeah. You also have damage reduction while Serene Storm is active, so that's a thing to consider. Goodbye. I missed. Ah, he's dead. Go on. Try me. Ha, he's dead. I will be staying around until the Acolyte comes, as usual. Should I use the Skagita? I feel like I don't think my Skagita is Steel Path ready. But we can check that out right now. Come here. Fight me. Oh, actually, it's dealing pretty good damage. Oh, wow, it killed that guy. Well, that was an Eviscerator, though. Oh, you heavy gunner. Hold on. I don't like you. Die. I think I emptied like a mag and a half into that guy. That was so needlessly aggressive. Anyways. That guy's dead. Oh yeah, just let me use this. Oh, actually, I can demonstrate Serene Storm while I'm here. Fisticuffs. The good old fisticuffs. So yeah, this is a problem I have personally with Serene Storm. It launches enemies, but it's fine once you get used to it, I guess. Also, you can use the slide attack, which does a lot of damage. Poor loser. Alright, and you have heavy attacks as well. That do it, so okay. I don't know if that'll do it, so. Oh yeah, yeah. It launches enemies and it's kind of fun to watch them get yeeted. Get launched all over the place. But while it does launch them and while it is funny to watch them get yeeted, you also actually are dealing a significant amount of damage. So it's definitely not damage that you can stop at. As you can see, I just killed all 3 of those guys with that slide attack. You realize that I will spam a lot of the slide attacks because that is the primary... That's what deals the most damage from this guy. And also, there's a Triberose video where he basically explains that your slide attacks can headshot, apparently. So, yeah, try to headshot with the slide attacks and let's see what happens. Where is this? Ow! That's not very nice. Why did you do that? I thought we were friends. Go to sleep. Where did he go? Are you sleeping? You don't look like you're sleeping. Sir. Be gone, foul beast. Don't make me switch to the Laden, okay? Are we doing this? Is this what we're doing? I'm switching to the Laden. Okay, I'm switching to the Laden. Didn't want to abuse you like this. I thought we were friends. Thought we were friends, but no, apparently we're not. Oh, I didn't. Hold on. Wait, your death will be soon. Ow. I just blew myself up. Listen here, sir. I was trying to be nice and reasonable. You were not compliant. So now I have to violate you. Be gone. I tried to use the Fellerix, you just didn't want me to. Anyways, I'll be using Incarnate form for this, even though it kinda sucks. Yeah, it kinda sucks. The base form is so much better because it one-shots them. And, you know, who's gonna complain about a one-shot, right? Well, two-shot, technically, but it can one-shot them if it was built better, but as I'm sure you've recognized, my builds aren't the greatest in the multiple. Why is that thing still alive? Be gone. There was a thingy. Focus. Oh my. Oh hey, it killed that guy. Whoa.
Stay focused. There's a heavy unit approaching.
Yeah, goodbye. Sweet summer child. Is there more in here? Oh yeah, there is. Where are you? Let's go. There you go. Get down. Get down. Come here. Nuisance. Anyways. Oh, there's still quite the number of it. Get out. Get out. Rude. Ah. Rude. Stupid energy drain too. Not only were you annoying ×1, you were annoying ×2. Can't believe you. The audacity of some grenade, I tell you. Where'd that dog go? Oh, there'd that dog go. Where's the... Ow. Oh, it's the dog. Is he shooting at me? Oh, wow. Did I just miss both of those? I'm so great. I'm so great at this game. I'm just gonna kill you because I really feel like using my brain for that one. Goodbye. Well, this mission is almost done, and I forgot to discuss what I wanted to discuss.
You have broken their ranks and they are on the run. Another successful mission.
Doug's dead.
Find extraction.
Anyways, another round of using Serene Storm, because why not? Also, I kind of want to launch this guy into the ether. Get out. Get out. Ha. Ha. Anyways. There's probably builds online that you can, find that will like one-shot enemies with Serene Storm, but my build will not do that. My build will just launch them and also keep you alive forever, because you have the infinite damager. I think you have with all of these active, that's 90% plus Serene Storm, that's 40%. So that's 130% damage reduction. So basically, the enemies will be dealing 1 damage. Yeah, the enemies deal 1 damage. And they lose their guns. So they don't have guns, and they deal 1 damage. What better way of torturing someone, am I right? Just assaulting them with blasting wind in their face and then crushing their ankles like sausages. 'Cause what? Did he get launched all the way over here? And he died? Oh god. I feel bad for that guy. He suffered. Anyways, not my fault. He chose the wrong side. Yoink. I will now continue discussing the concept frame that I wanted to discuss. I will discuss it whilst just standing in the end portion of this mission. Because, why not? What is that? What is that? Why doesn't it pop up here? What? Anyways, I love the fact that you can use the atomic cycle in missions. This is so nice. Anyways, so the frame the concept is you can assimilate with materials in your surround. Whoa. Okay, no, it's done now. You can assimilate with materials in your surroundings, and each material will give you different stats. So the passive is that. That is a passive. So by crouching on a material for a certain amount of time, let's say like 3 seconds to be reasonable, crouching on a material for 3 seconds, you will assimilate with that material. And you can save a certain amount of material assimilations that will be tied to your first ability, which we'll discuss in a second. So you will assimilate with that ability and you'll take on its statistics. And so let me give an example of what I mean by its statistics. So for example, the ground in this mission, we would say that this ground here would have a focus in something like regeneration because it's really grassy, it's green, it looks healthy. The overall area is healthy. As such, this ground would have really high health regeneration, and it would give you health and stuff. A lot of it too, because again, this is healthy floor. It looks healthy, it looks strong, durable, so you get HP and HP regeneration from it. And so assimilating with this would give you those 2 stats. Wait, let me get my back. Whereas something like the floor in a Corpus ship would give you a lot of shield and, damage reduction on said shield, and shield recharge rate and stuff. It would give you things like that. So it would scale based off the mission type, not mission type, it would scale based off what that, specific material has tied to it. So this is a Grineer mission, so you get health and health regen. Not armor, because this floor doesn't really look like the type of floor to give you a lot of armor. But something like Mars, the floor on Mars, would give you armor, because, it looks tough and dry, not very life-giving, so no regen, but instead you get armor. Tough, nice and strong armor. But the Corpus mission would give you shield because it's a Corpus mission. Why would it not give you shield? I'm sorry. Because Corpus missions. Why not give shield from Corpus mission? And the floors look very technologically advanced. So assimilating with that would do just that. Give you shield recharge rate, and damage reduction. So your shield has a lot more use. Because, sometimes shields can be bad. Harrow is not the standard for shields. I don't know if you've noticed that, but Harrow is definitely not the standard for shields. And so that would tie in very nicely to your first ability, which would allow you to basically save a material. This material doesn't save between missions, naturally. It saves on the mission that you're doing. So this floor would be considered a separate material from something like, let's say, this. This is metal. It's a different material entirely. So why would it have the same, thing as this floor? So this would give you different stats, and this would give you different stats, and so would something like this. This is a cleaner, more healthy looking metal. While it is still metal, yes, but it's very different looking and designed than this. So this would be a lot less powerful than this. This would give you a more powerful metal to assimilate with, whereas this would be weaker. And then you could also assimilate with things like crates, like the materials that make these crates or these containers here, right? You can assimilate with all of these things and gain different stats, and so you can save them. Now, you can only save up to 4. Yeah, you can only save up to 4 different materials, because it's kind of ridiculous to have you saving 5 million in one mission. And then whoops, I didn't mean to do that. And then you gotta spend an hour cycling through them. No, you can only save 4, and you can cycle between the 4 that you save. Now, here's a thing that is definitely gonna be coming to mind. Is that all your 1 will do? No, your 1 will do a whole lot more than that. The 1 is not just a save tool, but it's also a mix tool. You can use it to merge certain materials to keep traits and attributes from one material and give them over to another material. Now, how I would say this could be done would be similar to Lavos's elemental combination thing, where you save the 4 materials and they get put onto a little roster thing on the side of your screen, and you get to mix them together. But once you mix 2, you can't get those 2 back, right? You gotta go find the material again and assimilate with it again to regain those 2. But instead you gain a brand new material that will take the center portion of your HUD for your 1. So that is what I would say your 1 would be. And then your 2 would be material manipulation. So here's how this works. This will have synergy with your 3, by the way. So material manipulation, basically, whilst you're on a material that you're assimilated with, you can use this ability. And what it lets you do is you basically generate a series of attacks based off how you have it set. So it's gonna have changing modes. So the first mode will be spike mode, where you press it and you generate spikes in an AoE around you, and you launch them out. Now, naturally, if the material that you're standing on isn't big enough or wide enough, then the range of the spikes will be small. But if you're on a huge amount of that material, then it will be a huge range, which means you can kind of forego range with this character, but your range will then become circumstantial because, yeah, and that's where the 3 comes in. Anyways, the other form of this ability is a simulation shield. Basically, if you're on a material that you're assimilated with, you can actually create walls around you with said material, which will be absolutely a godsend for defense missions, even though it might cost Limbo some of his, notoriety. But you can basically stand on a material near a defense objective and just create walls. It will create the walls in a radius around you, a full 360 wall around you, and it will scale based off your range and also the size of the material that you're on. The wall's height and the wall width will scale off the size of the material that you're on. So, you gotta keep that in mind. And the last, but definitely not the least, material explosion. What this does is whilst you're standing on the material that you're assimilated with, you'll basically just blow up the material, not yourself. You'll cause the material to kind of start going crazy and just spew out all kinds of madness all over the place, and it will deal damage, a lot of damage. Now, here's the kicker, your third ability, the one that I said is your most important one. Yeah, so this one, you can assimilate with a material, and then you can carry that material with you and put it on another material, and change that material into the material that you assimilated with. So it will basically make your 2 incredibly viable, and so you can use your 2 basically anywhere. But here's the problem, this ability of yours will have a bar, kind of like the ink guys in that game. I don't remember what it... Splatoon, yeah, in Splatoon, where you have to be on the material to recharge your assimilation, and then you can go and spread it all over the place, by using your 3, you can spread it. Now, in order for your 3 to work, by the way, as you can see, I've been crouching a lot. In order for most of your abilities to work, it has something to do with you crouching. So in order to spread materials with your 3, you do have to crouch, and then you press 3, and you'll spread it, and you can walk and spread it. You can do this, and you'll spread it. It gives crouching more use, basically. Because I feel like this is an underused feature. You don't really use this much. I know you have to tap it to bullet jump with it, but aside from tapping it for bullet jumping, that's it, really. People don't typically, do this. And I think it would be kind of fun to have a Warframe that's just doing this all the time. And that's his whole that's an important part of his kit. So I kind of wanted to incorporate this as a feature for him. So yeah, you'd basically be able to paint areas with a completely different material and stuff, and it'd be really useful for your 2 and for your 1. If you ever miss a material, you can go find an area that you painted with said material and go re-assimilate with it and stuff. So that's definitely something. Now, last but not least, your 4, material expulsion. So this one, basically, it scales based off the amount of materials you have collected so far, and you kind of just spit them all out in a giant radius around you. And this is, again, where spreading the materials in your environment would come in handy, because if you have a bunch of materials spread all over the place, you can just replenish from the material expulsion, because, again, you lose them. You lose every material you have collected, and expel them all out and deal a ridiculous amount of damage. And when I say ridiculous, I mean ridiculous. Not clearing random mobs up to level 60. I'm talking nuking a full room of Steel Path enemies by pressing the ability. Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. It's gotta be ridiculous damage, because you're losing out on all the materials you've collected thus far. And yes, you can regain them, but that's besides the point. It's a big damage move. Okay, it is a big damage move, so it's gotta be worth something, am I right? Gots to be worth something. So yeah, and also as a fun little trait thing, assimilating with infestation does not work because you get a headache. So if you try to assimilate with any infested materials, your character will double over and start having headaches. So a bit of advice: you might not want to take that frame with you into an infestation mission, because you just get headaches since the whole tile set is infested. I mean, you might be able to find like one or two areas that aren't infested, and you can, assimilate with them. Kind of like how the infestation is like limited to the Helminth room and only spills out like a tiny bit, and you have areas like over here that are like, nice and clean, so you can, assimilate over here, but you gotta steer clear of over there. I think it's just a nice additional gimmick that infested stuff will give you headaches. I think it's quite nice. Anyways, that is where I will have to end off today, because I feel like this has been pretty long. I mean, I don't plan on cutting it too much, right? Like, I don't really do too much editing for my videos. I only cut out like small bits, like, a bit of the start and stuff. I like to yap, as I'm sure you can see. I yap a lot. I've just been yapping about this frame concept that I've come up with. And so yeah, I think it would be cool, and it would definitely be something I'd be interested in. I don't know, let me know if you'd be interested in a frame like that one as well. And let me know if you've liked this video and if you want to see more. I will discuss the other frames that I think are perfect, like Lavos, the one I've been walking around with. Lavos is definitely perfect. Gauss is also a frame that I think is perfect. Limbo, as I discussed, his move set, the way it is perfect. It just has a couple problems in regards to numerics. It just needs number tweaks, but aside from that, you don't need to Helminth any of Limbo's moves. They're all really good moves. Same goes for Mesa. Good moves, don't need to Helminth anything, but you can if you want to. Mirage is the same, you don't need to Helminth anything, you can if you want to. Necros, yeah, I would say that Necros is good. You don't need to Helminth anything, you can. While Soul Punch isn't exactly the greatest, you could leave it on if it got a number tweak. Same goes for Mej's first skill as well. You can leave both these skills on, it's just that they need minor number tweaks. Nidus is flawless, and he will always be flawless in my opinion. Protea, another frame that I think is perfect. She doesn't need anything, no changes, no number tweaks, she's just perfect. Corvex, perfect moveset, in need of number tweaks. He's the definition of a frame that is in need of number tweaks. Because his moveset is so good, I'm kind of tempted to just get into Corvex right now, but I'll hold off. But his moveset is really so good. Like, it's kind of sad that he needs number tweaks. But yes, his moveset is peak. And also, my Corvex he doesn't have very many changes. I just made his accents red, because why not? I think I don't know, I just don't like the idea of changing Corvex too much, since his design is one of the frame designs that I think is practically flawless. It's so simple, and I love it. It's just a concrete man. So yeah, that's Corvex for you. Another frame that I think is perfect, Sevagoth, Revenant, Volt, all frames that are perfect in my opinion. Zaku, another one. Valbon, another one. Right? A lot of frames have great movesets. They just need number tweaks. And a perfect example of a frame who had a great moveset and all it needed was number tweaks is Oberon. Fun fact, Oberon's rework is coming out today, and that is why I'm making this video, and that is why I'm touching on him a little bit right now. Oberon's moveset was great. It was actually like peak in my opinion. There wasn't a moveset that had more potential than Oberon's moveset. And yet it wasn't up to snuff or stuff or whatever you want to say. It was lacking in numbers. And if you look at the rework and the changes that they made, most of those changes are numeric, especially in the case of Smite. Smite had the potential to be possibly the greatest room clearing ability in the game, but it was limited by numbers. And so when the devs changed it to percentage, when Pablo changed it to percentage, and we got to see him demonstrating what it's capable of in the video that was uploaded, it was definitely up to stuff. That move became amazing, all because of a number change. So I believe a lot of frames suffer from that same problem. They're great, move-wise, they're great. It's just that their moves don't have high enough numbers, and that will kill a frame if its numbers aren't high enough. His 2 was the same thing. It just needed a change to its numbers. Instead of being a cone, it became a circular skill. That's really it. It's just now a circle around you. They just changed the number from conular to 360. Like, simple, really, but it's still such a needed and valid change. His renewal skill, I don't remember what its name is, but that skill, the change that they made to it was basically making it so it gives you armor as well, and that is amazing. So now our boy Oberon basically scales off armor. Funnily enough, Oberon was one of the frames that I was the most interested in using when I started Warframe. It was Loki, Limbo, and Oberon. They were my 3 frames that I had the most interest in, and they are the frames that I still have the most interest in. So I'm glad Oberon is getting a rework. I was actually in the process of working towards getting Oberon Prime, but let's just say I gave up. Yeah, let's just say I gave up. And I had to make room for a bunch of other frames, so yeah. But I've been deliberating on which weapon would be good to complete this Loki build. But I'll stick with Inodem. I'll probably get an infested weapon later on anyways, so you know. But yeah, so I'm looking forward to using Oberon and to getting to experience that Oberon rework, because Oberon is a cool frame, to say the least. He's a really cool frame, and his numbers were the only thing holding him back, in all honesty. So I look forward to seeing what his new form will look like, to seeing the public's review about him, and he'll probably be in the next video, so long as I can get the Prime before I'm ready to make the next video. If I can't, then unfortunately Oberon is not gonna be in the next video. If I can, he will be. If not, no. Um, I I will make a video on this Loki build, because you gotta admit, he does look kind of cool, right? He looks cool. Am I the only, does this look cool? I think he looks cool, and that's what's important, that you think he looks cool yourself. But yeah, I'm gonna do a video on this Loki build. I want to get an infested a tech rot weapon first. So when I get my hands on a tech rot weapon, then I will make the video, and I'll talk about it. I'll talk a lot about it, because Loki is my wife, my beautiful wife, Loki. Yeah, yeah. Oh, unfortunately, I still haven't. I have not been able to replace the time I have on Vault. Because let me explain. Let me make a claim for myself real quick. Volt is the frame that I started with. As such, he has the most playtime, because I had to play through the early portion of the game with him. So it's kind of hard to like outweigh the amount of time I spent on Volt, especially with like how much other things you have to do. And there was also the fact that I used Volt for nuking Sanctuary Onslaught, because, yeah. Until eventually I realized, wait a minute, I can just build Loki to nuke. Which I did, and that's why I have the Spodotrix as a sniper rifle. Because it can nuke. I'll discuss that in the video that I make about it. But, yeah, thank you guys for watching, and remember to like and subscribe and the whole shebang, the Shibuya, Jujutsu Kaisen reference. And I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video. And please comment what you think about what I think a perfect frame is. If you think my definition of a perfect frame is sensible, then let me know. And if you like the frame concept that I discussed, also let me know. And let me know if you're looking forward to the Loki video, because I'm looking forward to making it. I really want to talk about this. Like, really, really, really want to talk about this. So, yeah, thanks for watching. And look forward to seeing you in the next video.